Hello, Guardians. Welcome back to Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast, live on Twitch and YouTube. This is episode 200. I am...
Yeah! There's no energy from anybody else.
What the fuck was that?
We're celebrating 200 episodes, and nobody reacted to that news.
Jesus Christ. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Derrigan.
200 episodes.
Is...
After I invited y'all motherfuckers to be here.
The Jotun Toten Vault Dwelling.
Yes!
Master of the Deep Stone Crypt. God Slayer, Josh Finney.
Yeah, baby!
Brought
Got that God Slayer.
You did. Okay, enough of that. You're gonna get booted, and we're gonna bring whatever the hell this thing's name is. What's that fifth window in our
Craig?
Craig.
We're bringing Craig
over, baby. Yep,
you speak ill of Craig?
Also here, Josh, I'm happy to see you. It's been a week.
That doesn't sound like it.
I'm happy. I'm very happy to see you. No? Okay.
I'm happy to see you too. I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
You guys are cute.
I think Josh would rather just watch Luca get hurt again, and I don't know.
If you two made out right now, we'd get more likes.
We could, but we're on YouTube. No nips.
That's true.
No nips.
Gotta funnel the likes into the foot cam.
True. True. Also, here's
I hate everything.
our resident Vex Mind. NerdGeneralist is here. Hello, nerd. Welcome back.
It's me.
We missed you.
It's me. It's been far too long, and I think there's probably good reason for that.
Is there? Why is that?
You guys needed the likes. You had to bring me back on.
It couldn't be anything that had to do with the the pre-show. Could it?
Uh-oh.
Oh man. Also here is the one and only, the myth, the man, the legend. JoASIS is here.
What up, y'all? It's your boy.
We're all here. We're here.
Bitchville population 1.
Bitchville population 1. God damn it.
200 of
I had to bring in some dresses.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, I'm not wearing any pants, so you know.
Brother.
Prove it.
I did. I stood up earlier to go get the prizes for the giveaways. Should have been watching.
Did, but now you got to do it for the actual.
We got a Corey ass cam before a Bruce foot cam. It's not fair.
I mean, I can put my feet up on the desk if you want.
You got to get some likes for that. Oh, you got to make them work for it, Corey.
I can't see the likes. I can only see the chat because we're streaming to YouTube and Twitch, so I see everybody chatting in the.
We're up to seven likes.
Great.
7 likes.
Let's see if I can see these likes.
Like all the things.
Someone just disliked it because now we're down to 6.
John, you bitch! I know it was you. All right,
everybody.
All right, guys. We actually have a very busy show tonight.
We don't have anything to talk about.
Yes, we do.
Nothing's happening.
I promise you, we have a busy show.
Nothing's happening in the world of Destiny right now, Josh. Let me tell you, there's nothing.
Oh my god.
Nothing.
Can I tell you about the cold sweat and panic that I woke up to seeing the words in my text messages? The final shape has leaked.
Final.
Did you get the?
And I didn't even bother to check the accuracy. I just blasted everybody at 4 a.m.
Did you get the email from PR today that said, "Please don't share any leaks"?
No, because PR from Bungie doesn't want to talk to me. They only want to talk to Corey.
Oh, I got 7 emails today from them saying, "Please don't share the leaks from PlayStation."
Yeah, no, I didn't get shit.
I'm like, okay, great.
Maybe Sony should have read its own fucking emails.
Oh my god, it's so bad. Like, there was a joke from the former social media lead for Bungie who got laid off in October, Griffin. He was like, back when I worked at Bungie, we all had a joke about how long would it take for Sony to leak the upcoming content because it always happened. He's like, glad to see the tradition is still alive.
It's just like,
what else did they leak? They leaked another thing.
They've leaked like several seasons. I believe Lightfall was available.
they definitely leaked Haunted.
The Brazilian
I remember
Sony
that,
or something like that. Or
Japan Sony has leaked stuff.
Yeah.
Isn't Japan Sony just Sony though? Like,
No,
It was like the specific like Sony Japan YouTube channel or something.
PlayStation is kind of run out of Europe. though.
Something
yeah,
crazy.
that's true.
So
Oh yeah, they also leaked Elden Ring too.
Yeah. So what from Elden Ring leaked? Like,
they also leaked.
was that
Josh's third
also
in.
playable?
So, anyways,
Okay, well that didn't land.
I'm waiting on you.
All right, guys.
We had a very busy show, and I'm waiting on you to.
We do have a very busy show. I'm getting to it. Of course, you guys know we got to open up with the Twid. Thank God the Twid is not as bad as I thought it was going to be today. I was actually terrified that we were going to get the Zur rework here too. So instead, that'll happen next week when we're trying to review a fucking campaign.
It's true. Or
For all of you crossover lovers, rejoice. I have to talk about crossovers on episode 200. This could not have been more funnily timed, both in terms of the announcement, the day it will be available, and the subject matter. It is like a triple whammy over here for me. Dungeons and Dragons is coming to D2 officially. I almost said coming to D&D. Coming to D2 officially next Tuesday with the final shape. And
You still play Dungeons and Dragons? Is that even a thing? I don't think anybody actually plays that anymore. Certainly,
I'm going to
nobody.
choose to
nobody in
ignore
the
you.
chat.
I'm going to choose to ignore the obvious bait here. I saw this, and the person I instantly thought of in our community, aside from John, was Sammy, because I know how much they love D&D.
Yeah.
We've talked about it at length. This might be the coolest of the collaborations that we've seen, and I'm not saying that just as a huge D&D nerd. This is awesome. I really love all of this. So the Titans are getting a gold dragon themed set called the Apex Draconic. There is a Mind Flayer themed warlock set called Flayer's Dominion, and the Hunters are getting the Displacer Beast Spectral Displacer set. That might be the hardest cloak I've ever seen in this game. That is just wild. On top of that, you're getting an Owlbear Sparrow. You're getting a
Owlbear
Queen of Dragons ship, and you are getting the Eye Tyrant Ghost Shell, which is, it's a beholder, along with the Bigsby's Fist Finisher, which looks cool, and of course, it's not D&D without rolling for initiative. A D20 emote. All of this is an instant buy.
I'm gonna
I can't believe this. This is Corey's reaction to the Mass Effect stuff. Nope, this is the one thing they could do that I would fork out any amount of money for, and it is better than I could have ever dreamed.
So we're gonna roll for ad clear now in raids, right?
Oh my god! Dude, there are so many fun things we can do now with this. I really hope the emote does something special when you hit natural 20 or natural 1. This is great. This is great. I love every last part of this.
I said it. We should roll for. We got to do checks at every possible step. And
Hear me out. Natural 1 just deletes a gun out of your inventory.
Oh my god! It deletes one random masterworked item.
Nat 1, delete 1 character.
I really do love this. I think this fits perfectly. This to me does hint at a larger collaboration between Wizards and Destiny. Of course, I know we were talking about it in a separate Discord today, Joe, but Yubi and John instantly went to Destiny Magic cards.
I'm dropping $400.
And I guarantee you that would be a secret layer I would buy every single card for with zero remorse.
Oh, yeah.
Destiny.
None. Zero. Like, listen, if we can get a Fortnite set, we're getting a Destiny set.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, and like this even like more like they're already working together, so it wouldn't be like anything at all outlandish to jump there next. And I'm there.
I think this is really cool. Corey, as the non-tabletop gamer in the show tonight, does this make you feel anything, or are you just happy for your friends?
Josh, I'm happy that you're happy about a crossover. Okay.
I'm ecstatic about this. I can't believe this is a real thing. This is wild. I'm so ridiculously happy about this.
Since we are in a celebratory mode tonight, I am not going to say how I feel about all this.
I've been very clear how I feel about crossovers in the past. I still think it's a little gross because it's Wizards, but man, it's really hard for me not to be super giddy at this. Two of my absolute favorite games are crossing over. I've been really strong on the Mass Effect stuff. I've no Mass Effect crossover stuff yet. This I'm breaking on day one. I can't help. And they're making a physical Beholder Ghost that's going to be in the Bungie store. That's an instant purchase for me. I'm going to have a third Ghost shell, but it's worth it.
A third Ghost.
What if they did an anime crossover, Josh? Which one would you break for?
So the problem is, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an anime that would actually like make sense in Destiny.
Oh, fucking Fortnite's is in there. It doesn't have to make sense.
But they took the Fortnite armor and made it look like it belonged in Destiny. That's what I'm getting at. For anime, I mean, it has to be Gundam. It has to be Gundam.
We've already gotten that. Pick something different.
We did. Oh, that's true. We did get Gundams already.
We've already gotten that.
That was really different. More Metabots, but I'll accept Gundam as an answer.
Oh my gosh!
It wasn't a direct Gundam crossover.
Man, I might have to go Kaiju number 8. That would be really dope.
I don't know why I asked this question, pretending I would actually know what you're talking about. But
I know. Kaiju number 8, the best new anime of the year. It's great. Go check it out.
Sharks, yes. That's an old reference. Showing your age there.
That would be the only anime. Who am I kidding? Like, here's the thing though, like I get to play as actual anime characters that like their models look good in Fortnite. Like, I don't want to play as a Goku skin in Destiny. That's like if you make the armor look like it belongs in Destiny, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Like the D&D stuff is really tiptoeing the fucking line, but I'm like, mainly because that Mind Flayer helm.
The Mind Flayer one is really the only one. Like, I love it and I'm buying it.
I like to think that the Hunter Cloak is like the skinned carcass of like something they killed in the wild. Like a creature of darkness or something. And like, I guess you can like rationalize that for the Mind Flayer helm. Like, oh god, this warlock just got fucking weird.
But I've thought for a while that the final shape is gonna like the campaign and like how it's gonna work. My theory for a while has been that it's gonna draw like heavy inspiration from like D&D. And I this and Warlord's Ruin just kind of really enforced that for me.
Yeah, I mean, we got like dragon themed stuff in Eververse this past season during Wish, which made sense. You know, it's all about Ahamkara. But man, now I'm just wondering, like, what if this crossover had been the one to come out instead of the Geralt crossover at the beginning of Wish?
That probably would have worked well,
because you have the D&D-esque dungeon. You had a whole season about dragons, for God's sake. Like, I feel like that would have gone over better, but hey, it's all in terms of your partnerships. It's pretty clear that the Mass Effect one was supposed to be there for the initial launch of the final shape now. So, yeah, I like that. I like this. Book this moment, everybody. I will probably never say this about a crossover ever again. I actually love this. I genuinely love this, and I will spend so much money on this
until the next one comes out.
Let's jump to this final shape artifact, because this thing is wild, and I'm really glad that I've got some of our build crafters here on this one. That first column, that's of course your champion mods: Anti-Barrier Pulse, Unstoppable Sidearm, Unstoppable Scout, Overload Hand Cannon, and Anti-Barrier SMG. I feel like all of those fan favorites. Nothing to really complain about. Maybe SMG? Unstopped Sidearm,
Anti-Barrier SMG.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, Anti-Barrier SMG is a cool one. I'm a fan of that one.
Yeah,
And then
I'm a bigger fan of anti-barrier pulse, frankly, especially with pulses getting the global buff.
oh yeah,
For sure.
Big fan. But SMG, I mean,
Red Death is gonna go hard.
well, yeah. Oh god, dude, it's gonna work with that. But anti-barrier SMG, you got to think how many different guns have how many different elements have some of their best guns as an SMG.
Oh yeah.
So I think this is really cool. Starting in column 2 though, we get a little spicy. Logic reducer, weapons with the radial era transposer origin perk deal increased damage to Vex. Extends the duration of the radial area pools created by the transposer.
I bet that's the origin perk for the Echoes ones.
That is.
I didn't even think about that. Is it going to make pools of Radiolaria?
That's what it's saying right there.
Just going to get Vex.
That is so cool.
Oh my god.
All over
it's going to be even worse.
Vex.
Overcharged armory. Weapons with dealer's choice, radial area, transposer, collective purpose, and sundering origin traits are always overcharged. Elemental charge, cost of elemental charge mods are significantly discounted. Love that.
Oh yeah.
Saint's Inspiration, rounds loaded by the Cast No Shadows origin perk can overflow the magazine. I assume that this is the returning Season of Dawn weapons.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then Winning Hand, weapons using the dealer's choice origin trait, combat precision, final blows, or rapidly defeating opponents cause the target to explode, dealing solar damage to nearby enemies. Having several equipped weapons with dealer's choice increases the effect of the explosion. So cool. Kind of what we expect from that second column. Some stuff that works with our seasonal weapon suite. Column 3. Elemental Siphon. Rapid final blows with a kinetic weapon or a weapon matching your equipped super. Create an elemental pickup matching your equipped super.
I'm excited about this one. Yeah, this one.
That could be cool. Real spicy.
Yeah.
I like that. Overload Sword. Big fan. And swords are always overcharged. If
Ronnie, just in time, we're talking about swords.
Oh, we're going to be talking a lot about swords in the next couple columns. Creeping Chill, stasis weapon, final blows against slowed or frozen targets, release a burst that slows. This, I think, will go obviously really good with Riptide Chill Clip. Excited for that. Excited for Peace Bond to be used again in the new meta. I think that's going to be really fun. And basically anything with Headstone. If you picked up that Volpeka a couple weeks ago that had Headstone, here you go.
Or that bow, too.
Vergil's Curve. Nerd was using that when we were running an Onslaught yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
It's great. I actually have been trying to knock out the catalyst for it recently. Press the advantage. Breaking a combatant shield grants increased weapon stability, handling, and reload speed. Swords gain increased guard resistance.
Ooh.
And then Threaded Blast. Destroying a tangle with a strand weapon creates a larger and more damaging explosion. So for all of us who like to use things like Rufus's Fury or Immortal, this is for us. I'd also keep in mind that things like, Fang of Ear-Ute works with this. Swordbreaker will work with this. There's some pretty fun ones. And what's the hand cannon that's coming back that I'm forgetting the name of? Better Devils is coming back as a strand hand cannon. So for all you hand cannon lovers,
Better Devils is awesome.
Yes. And then column 4, of course, this is where we get really spicy. Counter energy. When you or a member of your fire team sends a champion, you gain energy for your least charged ability. Blade stamina. Rapidly defeating combatants with a sword refunds some ammo. Very excited.
Of the sword, baby.
Hope y'all farmed out a good guillotine. If not, you got a couple more days.
Or a slammer.
Slammer too. Well, but Slammer you had to have previously unlocked it because it's not the weapon this week.
Oh yeah, true.
So you may be SOL on that one. Void Hegemony. When you have Void or Prismatic equipped, defeating weakened targets provides a small Void overshield.
I like that.
I already like running. What is the one that gives it to you? Repulsor Brace.
Yeah.
I already like running that, especially on Void SMGs. So this is pretty spicy to me. Not like, oh my god, it's gonna break the game spicy, but like, okay, I don't feel a need to run a Repulsor Brace gun now. while this season is out, if I have that one. This might be my second favorite in the whole thing. Radiant orbs. When you have a solar or prismatic subclass equipped, picking up an orb makes you radiant.
Bro,
That's gonna be
literally you're just gonna be radiant all the time.
Oh, it's gonna be disgusting. It's gonna be absolutely disgusting, and I love it. And then galvanic armor. While you have an arc or prismatic subclass equipped, incoming damage from combatants is reduced while amplified.
So with that one, I wonder if it's gonna, because being amplified already gives you damage reduction, doesn't it? Like while you're moving.
That's a fragment on arc. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So I run that fragment on arc.
Fragment.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if that was just intrinsic to arc or to amplified.
But I want to say that that's like in the prismatic class, or in some shape or form. I think it is.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure. We'll have to look into that. I mean, obviously, we'll all have hands-on with the artifact soon enough, and with prismatic. Final column. Prismatic transfer. When you cast your super, each member of your fire team with a different super type, different than yours, gains a bonus to weapon damage.
So that's interesting.
That's going to be pretty huge.
That's cool. Yeah.
So yeah, like linears and rockets are going to be awesome. Like that combined with the crit spot of a div cage.
I'm
that
also
could be really
wondering,
interesting.
if everyone else has that on too. Like, does it stack 5 times?
There's gonna have to be some testing. Seeing this made me go, oh my god, I need to log on to my other characters and make sure that I stack enough bounties to speed run to this particular perk for the raid. Argent Blade. While you have armor charge, dealing damage with a sword consumes an armor charge and empowers your sword for a short time, granting bonus damage and energy charge rate. So imagine stacking this with prismatic transfer.
Does this stack with Lucent Blade?
I would imagine so.
Oh yeah.
They are really pushing us to. Are we going to beat the shit out of the Witness with swords?
That'd be pretty sweet. Not gonna lie.
I actually would love that. That would be such a contrast to the Rolk fight, where you're trying to stay away as much as possible.
Well, it would be really cool if they gave us like a fight that like guarding with swords like mattered.
Ooh.
So
because I would love something like that where like somebody's attacking us. Well, like I've been playing a lot of Elden recently, and like imagine if we had to fight a boss where like dodging and like sword blocking like mattered. That would be awesome.
The like one person that kept a good roll on a sword for the guard is like
yeah.
I think
it's like the king now.
I think it would have to be one of those encounters where they give everybody a sword, just because like otherwise you're saying like you have to have this specific type of weapon. Mm-hmm. And that creates, accessibility issues and things like that. I think it would have to be like a hive themed encounter so that you have hive swords and you just can easily explain it away.
Yeah.
That being said, I do definitely agree. I would really like to see that. I think that, like, obviously the closest we've gotten is probably not the way they intended for it to be done, but Atrax and even to an extent Crota.
Kind of, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was how that was how we did Pantheon for Azarac was a Titan with strongholds and Lament, just like completely baited him the whole time, and we all just pumped damage.
Well, let's keep going here. We've got the Expanded Abyss. Void sources deal increased damage to weakened targets, so just get somebody to throw a smoke bomb on there and go to town. Shield Crush. This is one of the other ones I was really excited about. While you have Woven Mail, Frost Armor, or Void Overshields, your melee recharges faster and deals increased damage. While you have Amplified or Radiant, your grenade recharges faster and deals increased damage. So,
I wonder, because they were talking about in the video that you could have multiple of these up at the same time. Like, I wonder if it stacks.
I would imagine that it does, because it is not hard at all to get Woven Mail, Frost Armor, and Void all at the same time.
Yeah.
That is not hard. So I like that. And I mean, like, everything is going to make you fucking radiant at this point, clearly.
Oh, yeah.
Amplified might be the hardest one to get. And then
Just get one
transference.
kill.
The final one is transference. This is the other one I was very, very happy to see. Gain increased grenade and melee damage while transcendent, and weapon final blows while transcendent. Refund light and dark energy after transcendence ends. That is very cool to see. Transcendence, of course, is that special grenade, and it lets you break the special shields on some of the dread. I am super stoked to see this. This one I feel is going to be a mainstay in the 5th column for at least like the first year of Prismatic being a thing, given how much they're going to want to push a new subclass. We've seen it with Stasis and Strand in the past. We've seen it with the 3.0 supers. Like, they want to push the new stuff, and they're going to put those shields in every facet of the game because they're going to want you to adapt. So I really like seeing this. This kind of feels similar to what was the fusion rifle one, particle deconstructor, that we all liked a few years ago.
Yeah.
That it was like, oh my god, like it made the base version of like in that case the gun so much better that we all got so used to using it that felt natural. And it was like this huge comeback down to earth moment when it was gone.
Yeah,
and we've clamored for it ever since, but it broke the game. I almost feel like you're going to get a similar thing here.
Maybe.
But this also feels like it could just be like a natural ability as part of the subclass in due time. Just a little reduced.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked to see prismatic specific fragments be added to the game. And if they do, well, I'm pretty sure we have a few that are exclusive. I could see this being one like 6 to 12 months from now.
That's like an exotic perk almost. Like
it honestly, I could see it being added to the exotic class items down the line. You're not joking. You're not wrong. That would be the obvious play for me. Like, maybe you don't want everyone to have it, but you want them to choose to have this.
Yeah.
Almost make it something like Argent Ordnance or Lucent Blades, like we've seen in the past. We've seen them in the artifact before, at a much cheaper rate than us equipping them on our armor normally.
Yeah.
Josh, we have a question in the chat that I think is relevant. So Dakota says, since Bungie said that in the Pale Heart you won't run into other Guardians in an instance, do you think solo op should have been made into a modifier rather than an actual mod?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I thought so.
I'm gonna say yes, but I think that while that would help the less skilled players in the player base, that would trivialize soloing dungeons, in my opinion. Or like trying to solo harder content. I understand that it's been a selectable perk in the past through the artifact. I think that's fine for it to be up for a season. I think for it to be a permanent mod, there would have to be restrictions on when you can and can't use that. And that opens up a whole can of worms for restricting mods in the future. Which is a path I don't want to go down personally. I don't know if that explanation makes sense, but I'm of two minds here. Like, I can easily argue for it, but the potential drawbacks to the rest of the sandbox make me go, it's probably not worth it. I also think it might, because like, yes, it's a solo instance in the Pale Heart, but you can still go in with a fire team, or you can load into an active combat zone. It says you can load into an activity, and then when you go out to explore, there will be other Guardians running around. So you always have that option too.
Yeah.
I just think that's going to have to be publicized. Like, the first time you get there, people are going to need to read the tooltips. Maybe have that as a tooltip when you're loading in. Would be my solution for that. But this is really the only area where I'd be like, yeah, you might have a problem surviving. Like, I remember when we went to Neomuna for the first time, Nerd and I were like, oh my god, everything is hitting like way harder here.
Yeah.
I remember the first day we were trying to do the terminal overload. We're just like, what the fuck is happening? This is so hard.
Yeah. And
we were like raid ready.
I did see, I think one of the content creators who went said that it's not like how Neomuna was with it being like a deficit, but I don't think you can over level it, which makes it like
I believe you are correct. I believe you would be correct more, like, on that matter. Yes.
Engaging, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, do we have any final thoughts here on the artifact or anything like that from anybody? Corey, you're being awfully quiet over there, buddy.
No, I mean, I think there's a lot of interesting things here. I still have a lot of great swords because you know how I am. I like to get up there and get all up close and personal with everybody. Hopefully, I like JoASIS' idea of maybe there's an encounter that we'll have to do with swords and blocking. I think some of these other things are pretty spicy as well. I'm pretty excited.
As he says with the most monotone voice ever.
I know. I was just sharing the stream out on other social media platforms while you guys were talking. So
it's all good. It's all good.
I want people to watch us, man.
Hey, man.
Let's move on to the world's first real fast. Just a few details here. You guys know the deal with World's First Races. It's going to go live on Friday, June 7th, 10 a.m. Pacific time. It will be enabled for contest mode. Will be up for 48 hours. Really, really hope they come out as part of the 10th anniversary celebration and say contest is a permanently selectable difficulty option. Because, man, Pantheon... Joe and I are going to touch on Pantheon after the TWAB, but it really scratched my itch for harder content. You will need to be at least 1965 power level to be at the cap for all the encounters. There is an entry requirement this time, though. Completing the Final Shape campaign and the Wildcard Exotic Quest is a requirement to launch the raid, but only the fire team leader must meet this requirement. A fair warning for any member of a fire team who do not complete the campaign before jumping into Salvation's Edge, the raid will contain spoilers. Ooh. Love that.
That's the first time they
kind of had to do that, though, because we're not going to get the final mission until after World's First.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's like the first time that they've ever like said that before, which is very exciting.
I mean, since the Taken King, it's the only raid that is actually like tied to the campaign.
Yeah.
Vow of the Disciple very much felt like an addendum to it. Same with the Nezarec stuff didn't even feel like it was really. I mean, that's kind of an addendum too, because that's caused because
Last Wish, kind of
an epilogue. It's an epilogue, but it's not like it wasn't like required to understand the story.
Yeah,
I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I guess.
Although I do think story-wise, it is the most consequential raid of Destiny 2 by far.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. This is, I mean, even the Oryx raid was very much an addendum. Like, you killed Oryx in the campaign, and if you didn't raid, you didn't know any better. But you got to give him the final death in the raid, and it's one of the coolest fights.
Double dead.
Yeah, you kill, and it wasn't, I don't think a lot of us understood it at the time. You kill him in the Ascendant Plane. So that's obviously a really cool factor in it. It's so much better than fighting fucking Taniks in the Deepstone Crypt.
Mm-hmm. So man, nothing beats Taniks, clearly. So.
I'm very cool with this being like they have been clear since August.
Hold on,
beating the raid is important to the storyline. That is
Taniks pissing your Cheerios, Josh.
Taniks been pissing in my Cheerios for about 8 years now.
Why?
Maybe we might be up to 9 by the time, because House of Wolves is when he was introduced. That stupid Black Spindle mission, man. And then they are changing the completion criteria also. You will no longer be required to return to orbit to finish the race. The first fire team to finish every encounter and loot the final chest will be declared world's first. Very, very cool. They encourage all players to complete the campaign and the wildcard exotic quest prior to the launch of Salvation's Edge to have the best story experience possible.
I can't wait for the wildcard exotic quest to have a PvP element.
I honestly really hope that a wild card is related to like the exotic that you get from the raid. It's been a while since we got a raid exotic quest, and I've been really clear about how much I really like those rather than RNG chances.
It does say that you have to complete the wild card.
I know, but I'm hoping that like maybe loading in will be part of the quest or something.
Yeah.
I'm holding out hope. I don't think we need anything as intricate as Divinity, but I think it would be really cool that like
I think
that is something.
Personally, but
yeah, I liked how they handled Necrochasm. I think if you do something like that for your reprised raids and maybe like a random drop every other year in the raids, then that's fine. There's a healthy balance to be found. Just doing RNG feels bad. And that's why I'm glad, like, with Pantheon that I really liked is that you can get those older exotics from the raids that were featured. Mm-hmm. The world's first race on Twitch Rivals, of course, we talked about this last week. There's 3 emblems you can get here. 1 for watching 2 hours of any Destiny streamer between the raid launch and the end of contest mode. 1 for watching 2 hours of any Destiny 2 Twitch Rivals stream, which will be most of the popular content creators, Datto, Fallout, Aztecross, I know all 3 of them are going to be on there. And then Rest the Heart emblem. Same hours, but drop a sub to your favorite Destiny 2 streamer. Not a huge fan of that one, but I get why they're doing it. I think all 3 of these emblems look pretty dope. I actually really like that Witness one. Personally. Do what? You don't like them?
No, I like that. Like they're having one be sub to you.
I do. I would encourage folks, and this is not me speaking ill of the content creators that you guys love. I really wish it was for anybody. And I'm sure this is meant like sub to anybody playing Destiny 2. I would encourage you to support smaller creators that you like that are doing this. They're maybe attempting the raid race. They need your support more than, guys who pull in a ton of money off their videos and streams. Always support the smaller creators. That's my Dado is not going to miss that $5. Trust me. I love him. He's not going to miss it.
What if he can't eat lunch that day, Josh?
He's got bigger problems than that.
If everybody subscribes to your ideology, he gets no money, Josh.
And see, like, I know that's going to be an argument that somebody will inevitably make with me. So that's why I'm saying, like, my personal opinion is support smaller creators.
Hates Dado confirmed.
Hashtag
don't hate Dado. I used him as an example here. There's also going to be a global chat emote of a ghost eating popcorn for all users of Twitch. I really like that. And then streaming Destiny for 30 minutes or watching 15 minutes of the Final Shape raid on Twitch Rivals will get you special chat badges there. So I think all that's pretty cool. I'm always down for things that get you involved. Cool display poster. I think we covered this last week. Joe, you said you wanted this.
Yeah.
When we were talking, it's pretty cool. We don't get a whole lot of art like this.
Oh yeah, that does look. That is so cool.
I just wish it was like an actual print and not a metal poster. That's the whole reason I didn't get the Traveler print last year. I really liked it, but I don't want displayed.
Yeah, I don't want this either.
Thing is why is Riven at the top and why isn't Nezzy at the top? Wasn't Nezzy like the final boss?
Nezzy is the final, but Riven is a gigantic fucking dragon.
Riven looks dope.
Also, like, I think legit Riven's the true challenge for a lot of folks doing this. Because they've never had to do it before.
Yeah.
Nerd's been trying to get me to do it for years and I did it without him.
Listen, we'll get into it later.
I owe him a legit Riven.
I'll teach you, Bruce.
Of course, Final Shape goes up for preload on June 3rd. Servers will be down for a full 24 hours. 10 a.m. Pacific time, you can start downloading or pre-installing the Final Shape. Of course, you guys know how to do that on your respective platforms, but make sure you have a lot of space open because this is a chunky update. The smallest version is on PS4 at 129.3 gigs. Steam users need to have 300 gigs
Steam
free.
Users are getting worked out.
Epic Store needs 280. Microsoft Store needs 156. Series X 165. Xbox One 139. PS4 129. And PS5 143. So good luck with that. Also, beginning on June 4th, you should know Destiny 2 is ending support for Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 8.1 if you are still on one of those OSs for some reason.
Well, I mean, those people probably have so many viruses at this point, like...
Probably.
Their computer's pretty much dead anyway.
A reminder to grab your seasonal seals and rewards, season pass items, vendor rewards, Shaxx, Zavala, Drifter, and Saint 14 rewards, and Bungie rewards before servers go down on June 3rd. Because all that's going to be gone unless you have the Chrome extension. And that's it, guys.
Yeah.
Guys, the next time that we read a TWID, we will have completed the campaign for the Final Shape. I will be hastily preparing for the raid the next time that we come to discuss a TWID.
Yeah.
Josh is going to be very sweaty, very unshowered the next time we come together for.
That is a lie. I will not be sacrificing my showers.
It's a good thing we don't do this show in person. It will be.
I would not be sacrificing showers. I promise you that. That's disgusting. Since we brought up Pantheon real quick before we transition more into making the rest of the show about the community, really. And we start answering questions, sharing favorite Destiny and show memories. Joe, as the fellow Godslayer here, I wanted to get your take on.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
I killed Oryx.
As the fellow Godslayer, I wanted to get your take on the Pantheon experience, so to say. How'd you feel about this? We ran most of week 4 together.
Yeah.
How did you feel about just the whole thing through all 4 weeks? The loot that was dropped, the difficulty of the experience, the changes to the encounters.
This year I wound up doing a lot of low man raids with Dealer and Oak. Shout out them.
Yep.
And it truly like makes the raids feel like that much like I haven't felt that level of like completion and like satisfactory for like getting it done since like a content test mode raid.
Right.
Completing Pantheon was like that times 8 at least. Like that they didn't just bring back content test mode. They made a range of like small and big as hell tweaks to every encounter, and they all felt great. My one complaint was sometimes it just felt like they were throwing a tormentor in there to throw a tormentor in there. But other than that, like 2 Rolks, what a way to fuck us all up. Like 2 Rolks, one just kicking you the whole time. I died a million times to that. It was a great experience.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the Rolk change was probably the best. Having 2
and you guys just ended up cheesing it, didn't you?
So Joe and I actually tried to do it legit for a couple of hours. It was very hard to keep track of both of them. It was very chaotic. It doesn't look and we did it legit week 3. Week 4 is the only time that we felt the need to cheese it.
And
we still got in the final stand several times.
Multiple times. But it's the interesting thing is you kind of have to walk them both in like a circle, and as soon as his beams like split the group up, it's chaos, and like it's hard to like reel that back in. So just adding a second roll completely threw all of our muscle memory off, and it was great.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I think it was awesome. Just overall great experience. A lot of the changes are what I feel like Master Rage needed to be. Not the dumping tormentors in, but like two people having the exploding light buff or whatever it's called in Golgoroth. And that with the Taken Minotaurs, that's enough to throw you off.
Oh yeah.
On even at -5, that's enough to kind of fuck with you if you've never done it on Master. So I think the only ones I didn't particularly like the changes to, because it was just like, oh, here's a Tormentor, were Atrax and I mean, I don't even really think that there was a change to Caretaker, was there?
They put ads for the people doing babysitting duty, and
that's right.
More of the
they spawn Taken Ogres also.
Yeah, that too.
So,
but yeah, I not so much on the random tormentors. Like half of them you didn't even have to deal with, because they would despawn anyway. Like they had one in Oryx that was so slow getting to the group that half the time it just despawned by the the time it got there anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of useless.
I'd like to see some of these changes incorporated into master raids going forward. I'm not suggesting go back and like change the ones that already exist, but like any raids going forward, I want to see things like this thought out for master mode. I think that especially double Rolk and the breaking of the Centurion shields in NES, while annoying, were the right kinds of changes and challenges for master level content. If you're doing master content, you should be able to handle a curveball like that.
Oh yeah.
So, and of course, we're not even doing it at master level. We're doing it at contest difficulty, right? And even then, like, we had surges that it was still a bit of a slugfest sometimes. So, just shout out. I really love that there wasn't much of a change in Riven except for some invisible minotaurs and do it legit.
Yeah.
I really love that you couldn't cheese Riven. And I think that if you're doing a raid gauntlet like that for the first time, especially, like, that had to be a requirement.
Oh yeah.
So I look forward to seeing what the next iteration of this looks like. I do maintain that I think they'll do another one with the 10th anniversary. If not, you and I have both said that we would love to see this come back as a moment's triumph thing in the future.
Oh yeah. I think if they brought it back once a year to build hype going into the expansion, obviously, like, it seems like they're gonna deviate from a yearly expansion model, but I'd love to see this as like a way to build hype going into an expansion.
I'll be honest, I don't want to see this every year.
Yeah,
but because I think if you do this every year, it loses how special it is. And you can't just
a special thing.
Yeah, I think reusing the same encounters would also like just kind of fall flat. Like, if you didn't do those encounters when it was up, like, no, fuck you, you don't get a second chance at this. Like, those, I'm a firm believer that, like, those emblems and that title should be gone forever. Like, come up with something new next time.
I agree that the titles and stuff should be gone, but I think this was way too much of a knockout of the park for them to not bring it back.
No, they'll bring it. They've already said they're bringing it back.
Yeah, but I mean in a regular fashion. And
it doesn't need to be back in a regular fashion. I'm gonna be that guy.
Okay.
If you,
I don't think it should be. I think the titles and shit should be different.
I'm not arguing that. What I'm getting at is I think that the loot aspect trivializes the other raids if this is available all the time.
That's true.
Because they have done it in a way where you are guaranteed red borders. Every time through, you are guaranteed an adept weapon with each clear. With each boss clear, you are guaranteed... You can buy red borders every time you get to the chests at the end. I think that trivializes running the actual raids.
I don't think it should be there all the time. I just mean it should be back on a once-a-year basis, like you said.
Yeah, and they've already said that they'll bring it back in some form evenally.
Let me build the...
I would love to see them do a dungeon version of this.
Same, yeah.
I think that would be the bigger knockout of the park, frankly. Like, okay, you nailed it with 6s. The next one, let's get it with 3s. By then, you've got enough raids to pull from again. I'd love to see one with the classic raids, just D1 encounters. There's so many different things. You could even take, like, infamous Nightfall bosses and put them in there. I don't know. Like, there are so many things you can do here. You could do endgame bosses from the campaigns. Like, there are things you can do here. Unvault some of the encounters from the Leviathan raids, from Crown of Sorrow, from Scourge of the Past. Like, I would love to see some of this stuff come back, and maybe that's the form they come back in. You don't bring the whole thing back, but you make it part of a raid gauntlet. Or there's a lot of ways to do this.
Yeah, like somebody in chat said, 1 year it's the raid one, and next year it's dungeon one. Then it loops back. It's like every other year.
The only other critique that I would give towards this is something that Oak actually brought up to me when we were finishing up a run the other night, and that was that, like, the loot for them was unfulfilling. Like, yes, there was a lot of it, but they already have all of that crafted. Whereas for me, I'm going in having like 2 or 3 patterns of guns, and I'm finishing all these guns. I'm getting all these adept rolls as someone who hasn't done a lot of master raiding. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like the best loot I've ever gotten in my entire life. between this and Onslaught, I've filled up like 100 slots in my vault in the last month and a half. Like I'm drowning in all these great rolls, all these crafted guns now, and they're like, yeah, for us who raid all the time, this is cool, but it very clearly, the loot doesn't skew towards the audience, because this is something that is for experienced raiders. This isn't something you just boot up and decide I'm going to do with only having a couple raid clears under my belt.
That's I did like the amount of spoils, and like you could buy like 20 adepts every single time, like so many adepts. But like me, like them, I already have all this stuff. I was exclusively after the title. The title is all I cared about, but
I was after it. I'm not gonna lie, getting that trace rifle to drop for the first time and then finishing the pattern purely through Pantheon runs and not buying a single one from a chest was pretty rewarding.
It took Josh a year and a half to
get one drop, and then I finished it in 2 Pantheon runs.
Yeah.
Very, very happy about it though. So like for me, the loot was great. I understand why for most people doing this, it's like, it's helping me finish out a few things, but like, maybe I'm grabbing a couple of adepts to enhance, but that's it. Like you're mainly stocking up on the spoils for final shape. Like I'm going to go into final shape with 240 spoils plus another like 100 something sitting in my postmaster. I'm ready. I'm totally ready to buy everything I want out of that raid, and I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied. So very cool. Hope to see more endgame centric content like this. I think this was the like cherry on top of Into the Light was already good. This is like, oh my god, you've had like this 3-course meal, and then they bring out dessert. Yeah, and that's really what Pantheon was to me.
Oh yeah.
It's like here, you know, you've gorged yourself on this incredible meal and like this nice bottle of wine. Maybe you've had a great bourbon, and then they roll this out here, and it's like the end of the meal. The chef delivers it personally. It's like for 6-7 weeks we've gotten to forget about all the bullshit at Bungie and just had this awesome run with Into the Light and Pantheon, and we're in such a great place going into this expansion, I think.
Oh yeah. It feels like they're really trying to like make up for Lightfall here, honestly.
110%. Yeah. Let's move on to some content for all of us. We asked you guys to submit your favorite memories from either the pod or from Destiny. I was going to sprinkle these in, but we were having some really good conversations. So we're going to go through some of these while we kind of mix them up with questions. Nerd, we had a fashion contest going on over the last couple of days. Do we have the votes tallied on that?
Give me
I will let you tally those while I start these, and we will bring those up in a little bit.
Okay.
I want to make sure we announce the winner of the fashion contest on tonight's show.
Okay.
Before we get out of here. So we put out a call for some memories, and y'all wrote a lot of novels because apparently you guys like me talking a lot. Corey, do you have this pulled up in Discord?
I do have it pulled up in Discord. There is a lot of things here.
Corey and I we're gonna tag team some of these. I'm gonna let you take this first one here, Corey, from Jiggly Panda.
From Jiggly Panda, not from Fox?
Not from Fox. Fox was telling people to submit stuff.
Oh. You're right. That's exactly what it says. Jiggly Panda writes in, started listening right before the launch of Lightfall and love how passionate y'all are about this game. My favorite memory is hearing Josh and Corey go back and forth with all of the hot takes. I can say y'all have helped me through some tough times and helped me get through the week with both pods. Sorry, I'm getting old. I gotta make this screen larger. I enjoy how the two shows are so different yet blended together so well. Also, love how both of you can match off each other, and you seem like you're having a great time. Thanks for making my Friday mornings some of the most enjoyable mornings for the past year. You're welcome.
Well, thank you for writing in with all your questions. Jiggly Panda writes in every week with questions.
Yeah.
Some of our favorite questions.
Josh and I actually hate each other.
Yeah. hate to break it to you guys. We absolutely hate each other.
You haven't been paying attention. They hate each other.
Our next memory comes in from Ronnie. Ronnie wrote us a small novel here. Oh man, where do I start? Joined the Discord shortly after listening to the pod and ran a few raids and activities with some people here. I love the community feel of the Discord, and it was something my old clan didn't have. Sure, they had Discord, but it was ran like a business, and this was a breath of fresh air. Some of my favorite memories. Playing the Legend Lightfall campaign for the first time with Aaron and Saint, and hearing Saint shriek in terror when we came across the Tormentor for the first time. Nerd has a very similar memory of me, I believe. Very high-pitched. My mic cut out, and him and Colonel were just laughing their asses off at me.
I can't hear in that frequency anymore. It's just forever.
Are you talking about that one that busted into the room right at the beginning of the campaign?
Yes, the very first one when you're on the Cabal ship.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Doesn't die.
Assembling the OG Misadventure raid crew with Fox, Nadiki, Nox, Saint, Zill, and Aaron to help other Guardians get through raids that might not have had a chance before. And watching Aaron randomly walk off an edge of a cliff in Ron during one of those Misadventure raid crew practice runs, and Fox belly laughing, which led to everyone else laughing for a good 10 minutes. I think the overall thing and memory for me, as there are so many, is hearing the actual joy and gratitude in someone's voice when you've helped them out by doing an activity they didn't think was obtainable, no matter if it's a GM, dungeon, or raid. Helping people in real life situations as well. I never do it for the accolades or the fame of the server, but knowing that if I was in their situation in game or in real everyday life, hoping someone would do the same for me if I was in a situation. I've met some great people in the server that will be friends for the foreseeable future. Besides the ones I tagged, I can't forget Airmail Attic, Virtual Massacre, and Emerald Jack 999. So thank you, Corey and Josh. Enough with this mushy junk. Grandpa Scout out.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who may not be a part of the Discord, Ronnie has been one of our raid leaders in there since we started the server, in all honesty. And there are very few people, I think, that have kind of picked up the torch of what Corey and Nerd and I wanted to do with it than Ronnie and his Misadventure crew. So, thank you so much for everything you guys do. Raids, dungeons, GMs. Like, I don't think there's a night that I, log on that I don't see Ronnie on helping somebody through something. And God, with 600 levels this season under his belt, I would hope he's gotten more than a few friendly clears in there for people. And
the winner.
We've got the fashion contest winner here.
Well, it's perfect. It's perfect timing, and that's why I'm cutting in. The winner of the fashion contest is actually Ronnie.
Oh boy.
Let's see, what was the percentage rate? With 18% of the votes, and we had a two-way tie after that with, let's see, who are the next people? Was number 7, which was Nox, and Illustrated Dio with 15% of the votes, respectively. So, Ronnie, congratulations.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Ronnie, I will be in touch with you tomorrow to give you your prize.
Ooh.
So, of course, for those of you who don't know, our fashion contests are always done for silver. And for a custom title in the server, which for this one, we're wiping all the server titles here in a couple of days. Ronnie will be one of the few that gets to keep his, and it will be Witnessed.
Ooh.
Witnessed.
So, very excited for that. I really wanted to do a fashion contest as we led into here. Show me your best pre-final shape drip. And maybe because I've watched Fury Road recently and I'm excited to see Furiosa, but I couldn't get Witness Me out of my head. So Witnessed, Ronnie. You are weighted shiny and chrome in Valhalla, even though I don't think your drip was shiny or chrome at all, if I remember correctly.
Weighted shiny and chrome.
Weighted shiny and chrome. Yes, Corey, that's from a movie that you've never seen.
Probably. Sure.
Corey, why don't you hit me with the next one, and then we're going to do some questions.
All right. Aaron writes in, Aaron says, "Oh geez, how do I follow up on Ronnie's post?" I mean, this Discord community is pretty great. I came over here with Ronnie because our old clan was elitist, and it honestly felt like a chore for some of them to run anything with us. Everyone here has been very welcoming, and it is one of the reasons Ronnie and I took on an organizer role for raids and other runs. We want as many people to get as much out of the game as possible. For our favorite memory is. As for favorite memories, 100% me absentmindedly walking off the ledge in Ron. I don't think I've ever heard someone laugh as hard as Fox when that happened. It's pretty funny. It's really funny, actually.
I really do love that there's so many inside jokes that are being shared.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. The whole point of the server was for people to find friends to play with, and I'm so glad we have so many groups that have sprung up through that, be it community Iron Banner, community raids, etc., or even just jumping in. If Nerd and I have been in voice chats before where people just randomly jump in with us, and that's the whole point. That's the whole point of it. I know we had a Helldivers crew going for a while. Like I love that people are playing things beyond Destiny together.
Mm-hmm.
We do have some questions for episode 200, though. We had one from Ronnie a couple of weeks ago that I said I wanted to save for when we had a full panel. That if we were to all get together and do a live Tower Casuals in person, not live on Twitch and YouTube, but live in person, where would it be? What would we discuss? And what kind of refreshments would be served? What kind of food would we have? I've been sitting on this one for a couple of weeks now because I wanted it to be the full panel.
Well, okay. It's gotta be catered by the Earl.
I mean, I think it has to be at the Earl.
Yeah.
And catered also.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
Wouldn't it be great? Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say Earl sandwich, too. I was like, that's the only place it could happen.
See, wouldn't it be great if we had already thought about this and we're like, just so happens, guys, we are live. Corey just pulls up a green screen from behind him, and we're back there at the Earl of Sandwich. Sponsored by Earl of Sandwich. Here we go, guys. No, you guys really messed this up.
Brought to you in part by Craig. Brought to you in part by...
Best Coast. Oh, Corey, you broke the arrangement of the windows.
Now, only Corey's on the podcast. Corey's gone on rogue. Corey's gone rogue.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back after some incursions from the Vex.
Yeah, they infected me.
They really did. They infected They infected the podcast.
You could just tell people I had to pee. That's okay. We had to stop the podcast.
That's all. That's long. We stopped so that I could watch the back half of the fourth quarter in the Western Conference Finals. Luka Doncic is going to the NBA Finals. For all of you who hate hearing me talk about sports, you got another 2 weeks of it.
You know what, Josh?
Because the finals will be going on.
I love it.
Sports casual.
I love it too. I'm actually genuinely a little emotional. This is the first time since we won that we've been back there. I worked at the arena that season. It was very cool to see in person when we won the title. This is a very cool moment. This is a very special moment.
You know, we could do a seasonal podcast called Dallas Casuals, where all we do is talk about the Mavericks.
No, I would never do that. I would be completely insufferable. Jiggly Panda writes in and asks, if there was one thing you would change about this pod for the next 200 episodes, what would it be?
It would be Josh never talking about the Mavericks again.
Fuck you. That's not him.
That's a lot.
It would be Josh only talking about the Mavericks.
It really would be.
For the next 200 episodes.
I actually have a semi-serious answer to this. I'd love to have more discussion about builds and guns and things like that. I feel like that's some of the best content that we produce is when we have these long form discussions. Not even specifically about like weapons, but some of my favorites are when we get to break down, like we have like these long 2-hour talks about something that's happening in the game. And it's not just, well, we had a twid this week. Well, we had this week. Like, I think it's really fun when we get to break down the nuances and the ins and outs of the game. I really love that aspect of doing a pod. That's my favorite part. Is picking everybody's brains. So, and I would say also getting more guests on here outside of our stable of friends. I love you guys, but we want to expand.
Fuck us.
So
yeah, man.
No. I mean, like, listen, I can call you guys up on any Thursday and be like, hey, can one of y'all fill in? Like, one of us had an emergency tonight, and both of you have actually had to do that before, and you guys don't hesitate to say yes. I'd like to pick some more brains in the community. So
my brain's not good enough for you anymore. I hear you.
Oh, it's more than
he
good
wants
enough.
More hunters.
Jeez,
I hear it.
We don't need any more hunters.
Gosh, that's gross.
And then, Jiggly Panda also asked, can we get an updated DLC ranking and seasonal rankings? Well, you're in luck because we're going to rank the DLCs next week. Mm-hmm. After, maybe not next week, but in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we will rank those and we will give you we'll do seasonal rankings. Probably when we get most of the way through Echoes, frankly. Mm-hmm. It kind of snuck up on us. We probably would have done rankings a few weeks ago had I thought about it. Also because I'm 100% classifying Into the Light as its own season going forward for our specific rankings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want to be able to accurately break those down. But you will get those both this summer. And, of course, as is tradition, when the new raid comes out, you will get an updated raid list ranking from, me and whoever else is there. So, maybe we'll give you campaign rankings next week. Maybe that's a better thing to promise.
Yeah.
Campaign rankings. Although I'm even hesitant to do that since we won't have the final mission yet. I don't know. You'll get rankings over the next month. You're getting rankings.
Here's what we should do. Okay, Josh. Next week, campaign review. 2 weeks after that, or a week after that, we'll do the campaign rankings, and then the following week we can do the expansion rankings, seasonal rankings, whatever. Unless there's some really big story stuff going on.
There's going to be a lot of story stuff. If you could sit down with any Bungie dev, what are 3 questions you're asking them? I don't know. What instead of 3 questions, why doesn't everybody give one answer to this question? Just because there's 4 of us here for time's sake.
Yeah.
Because it is actually very late.
Yeah. What would you? I would ask. What have you learned over the course of the 10 years that you wish you would have knew at the beginning? And would you have changed anything?
Nerd, what would you ask if you could talk to a Bungie dev?
I mean, I know they've already said we're going to learn more about it soon, within the next couple weeks. But I want to know what's next, long term. More than anything right now.
Joe?
I've always wanted to know when Sparrow Racing League is coming back, baby.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I need it back.
Looking like a true gen.
I need it back. Skimmer Racing League. I think
there's a few questions that could be asked of Bungie. I think it would kind of depend on who I'm sitting down with, but I think some of the more burning questions that I would have is, how did you settle on the lack of content for Curse of Osiris? I know that's a really sore spot for Bungie, but how did you decide that? Why did you guys decide to axe the entire Destiny 1 story 10 months before launch? Would be another burning one. But those have kind of been talked about to an extent in Jason Schreier's interviews and books that he's written about the situation. I I think the burning one for me would be like, how do you plan to evolve seasonal events going forward? Because I think we can all agree that the seasonal events like Solstice and Guardian games and whatnot are starting to feel really stale. Have felt stale since we started this show, as a matter of fact. Haven't really done a whole lot to change them. But yeah, I think other than that, like my main question is just kind of nerds. Like, what's the future? Not even just like game wise. Like, how do you plan to expand the franchise? You said that was such a huge part of the sale to Sony. Like, are you still going to be able to pursue that or not due to not meeting your financial targets? So there's definitely a lot of things, and I think it's all depending on like who you get to sit down with at Bungie. Because different devs and different departments are going to have different answers to these things. Tiger Jesus, another person who's been writing in for years and years now. I think back to like the time of like episode 50, we've been getting questions from you. Would you rather fight 200 tormentors, 200 champions, or answer 200 crossover questions? Well, it's not the champions. I would probably say I would rather fight 200 tormentors. Ones that I can finish.
Do we get unlimited supers like in Onslaught?
Yes. Executive decision, you get that, and you get Edge Transit.
Rat Kings only.
Rat Kings only.
So don't joke about that. Joe got a clear on Legend Onslaught using Rat King.
Our first clear on Legend, we used Rat Kings only, and it went great. It went great.
Funny, I know exactly who you were in there with, too.
Tiger Jesus' real 200 question. Real 200 question. What sandwich or meal could you eat 200 times in a row?
Earl of Sandwich.
Well, we knew where Corey was going with that.
Hashtag sponsored by Earl of Sandwich.
I will.
Nerd, give me yours. Give me your dish.
I mean, so this is 200 times without getting sick of it. Is that what we're supposed to?
Sure. I'm not going to say in a row. I'm going to say 200 times without ever getting sick of the specific meal.
I already do that. I have bacon and eggs for breakfast every morning, so I could probably eat that over and over again. No problem.
How bad is your cholesterol?
Yeah.
Cholesterol's a lie. It's all just
Jesus Christ.
Made up.
It's all
right.
made up.
Joe, what would be your answer here, Joe?
Gotta rep my Italian shit. Lasagna every day. I'm with it.
How's his? No comments about his cholesterol.
No, I gave up.
I don't actively eat lasagna every day, but that wasn't in the question.
If I did, there would be signs.
That wasn't in the
it would be you don't eat lasagna every day.
Named John. I've got kind of like a joke answer and I've got a real answer. My joking answer is I could eat the spicy sandwich for a meal from Chick-fil-A like every day and never get tired of it. My serious answer is oh my god, I might end up being my serious answer. I think I just forgot my serious answer. Jesus Christ. Joe was talking about lasagna, now that's all my brain's going to. No, my serious answer is
lasagna.
My serious answer is Pequot's Pizza in Chicago. I legitimately have considered buying a plane ticket, going to Chicago for the weekend just to eat there like 3 times and fly back. That's how much I love that pizza. It is the only deep dish pizza I've ever had that I actually liked.
And you have the nerve to talk about our cholesterol when you're buying plane tickets to...
I do. Well, I didn't say I've done it. I said I've considered it.
When you're out here...
I was going to do a long weekend and go to breweries, Joe.
When you're out here...
I was also going to feed my alcohol problem. I might make a stop at Buffalo Trace on the way back.
Jeez. I want some Chick-fil-A now.
Oh my god, yeah.
Here's the thing. I used to eat the spicy chicken sandwich all the time. And then at one point, I turned 35, and it just started shredding my insides.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to that point yet, thank God.
32
on the day the final shape comes out, by the way, people.
Looks like I got another nine years. before it shreds me to pieces. So
it's funny how once you hit a certain age, Corey, your body just starts working against you.
I know. I know. That's why I eat
mine is starting to do that with dairy.
Yeah, that's why I eat egg whites and turkey sausage for breakfast.
Oh, come on, get some meat up in there.
Hey, hot take here. Hot take. Turkey sausage, turkey bacon, turkey burgers, delicious, and I'm not going to go back on that.
I think turkey sausage is better than regular sausage, but regular
I won't go that far.
Regular bacon.
I won't go that far. Obviously, all the real stuff is better, but turkey sausage, turkey bacon, and turkey burgers are all bomb. I'll stand on that hill.
All right, we have one more question tonight.
You'll probably be the last one standing on that hill because we'll all be dead from cholesterol.
And I'll stand on it, yep.
I'll be dead inside of a pizzeria in suburban Chicago.
And then we'll all come back as guardians. We'll all get ghosts.
Exactly.
And then we'll...
No! I think Joe's too much of a
look at Josh. The ghost will look at Josh and his pizza-stained face and be like, ooh, I don't know about this one.
Not this one, no. No,
this was not...
Fat from strength.
He drank 42 beers.
Damn, he died with a piece of deep dish in his hands and a pitcher of Goose Island. Should we really rest this guy?
I don't know. That might be the savior. You're the prophesized one right there.
That's true. I am the chosen one.
Jeez. Guardian.
All right, final question of episode 200. Hail Hydra writes in and says, "So glad this podcast exists. You guys have helped me cope with school and a breakup and other stress. My question is, do you think there will be any lasting negative consequences of the campaign in the final shape? Will we lose anything permanently, such as the city, the tower, or a person?"
Traveler.
I think the Traveler is probably dead after this, frankly. My guess for a person, because I've said for a long time, like we were going to lose a major person. No, Amanda Holiday does not count. I do really think that this story trailer makes it seem like we're losing either Zavala or Ikora. I don't think Cade was intended to come back as a permanent NPC, but I'm pretty convinced that he will be now, simply to have Nathan Fillion be the voice of the franchise after the tragic passing of Lance Reddick. I think we can all agree that post Nathan Fillion, Lance really... they really ratcheted up the Zavala story beats, and Lance really got a chance to shine. Even in the passing that his family made about his passing, they noted how much he loved the Destiny community.
He was playing
the night before
the final mission of Lightfall the night before.
Yeah, and we now know the final voice lines he ever recorded were for Season of the Deep. Some of his most emotional lines. It's really bittersweet. Nerd and I were talking about this the other day. There is no doubt in our minds now after that trailer that Keith David was the perfect person to step into the shoes.
Oh yeah.
But I do think that they
killed it.
I feel like they want to keep that to a minimum, though, to honor Lance's legacy. I would not be shocked to see Zavala's journey, whether it's killing him off or just letting him retire off screen in the tower. I would not be surprised if Zavala does not have a major story beat going forward after this. I don't think they'll kill him off. I don't feel like they'll kill him off. They kill anybody, it's Ikora. I think Ikora's got it.
There's always the option that they just stay in the Traveler. Well, like, what if, like, based off of that story thing, what if, like, after what if, like, after we beat the Witness, Zavala can, like, manifest his wife and his daughter, like, in the Traveler and just stay with them. I think that would resolve his arc well personally.
Yeah.
And he hands over the keys to Osiris, Crow, and Saint, maybe.
It's Cade.
Be the new Drake.
I think the Vanguard is done. The Vanguard as an institution has shown that it's done. If anything, you're going to get a new consensus out of this, I believe, with Keitel, Mithrax, Cade, Crow, possibly Eris.
Kind of like the like in Mass Effect where all the races take a post.
Yeah. Kind of. Elsie can be the representative for, Braytech or for the Exos, whatever.
What if Zavala gives his ghost to Mithrax or Ido?
I would actually really hate that. Because Zavala doesn't have a story beat with those two. That's my issue with it. He doesn't have a story beat with them. It would be more impactful if Saint's Ghost rezzed Mithrax, in my opinion.
That's true, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think guys like Saint will continue to exist in the world simply because they're vendors for he's a vendor for trials. Yeah. But you can have them actively retire from story beats, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I'm very interested to see what they do here, because I don't think the solution is just for a story to have stakes, you don't have to kill somebody. Mm-hmm. But we clearly know the Vanguard is going to be tried. They're going to see glimpses of what their futures could be as disciples, what their past could have been. I'm sure there's going to be promises we can undo things that happen. Very Emperor Palpatine-esque. So, Joe, you were the one who pointed out to me, oh, damn, that looks like the shack from Zavala's past.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then, we see Cade standing over a body, too. Is that us? Is that Cade standing over his own body from the core, or is it our body from Corridors of Time? There's some really interesting questions to be asked there. We're not going to answer Hydra's second question. Any last-minute story predictions for Echoes? We don't know. Echoes is going to be directly influenced by the campaign.
Dependent on what happens, yeah.
But it clearly feels since it's Vex-themed, it's probably going to carry on from some themes that were explored in Wish, why the Vex were invading the Dreaming City in the first place, things of that nature.
I will say I would love a dungeon that just dumps us at the start or at the end of the Glassway strike and just says, "Go inside."
Yeah, I would like that. I really do think I think it's going to be an expansion.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe the next real expansion after this, because I think we've all agreed it needs to be Vex themed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you can't really go anywhere else with any of the other races, really, right? I mean...
No, and that's what I do think that once we defeat the Witness, maybe some of those species that have been calcified in the pyramid ships maybe are dispersed back to their original planets.
Thaw out.
Yeah, and I mean, you can literally go anywhere with that, so...
Yeah.
We're gonna go back to some memories. We have a lot of these to get through. I didn't realize how many of these we actually had. Joe, I'm gonna respectfully, we're gonna save yours till towards the end. I'm gonna give you the floor to talk a little bit. Both you and Nerd. But you guys are still entered for the giveaways. Nadiki writes in, there have been a lot of great memories formed here in the last couple of years, from running Lightfall Legendary Campaign on day one to the Misadventure Crew Raid mishaps to running Warlords day one with Green Crayons and Nox. I was recently helping Airmail, Attic, and Saint get their whispers, and Saint is xenophage after who knows how many years. My favorite memory for sure was doing contest mode Root of Nightmares with you guys. So many inside jokes were formed, and the excitement when we beat planets and later Nez was crazy. I hope we can do it again come Final Shape. In loving memory of that run, Nadiki, get your ass back here. Great. That is my entry for my favorite Destiny moment. Is Dealer yelling that during Final Stand of Nez. Nadiki, I hope you understand how much we appreciate you, and we say that out of a place of love and respect, and not belittlement. That is genuinely one of the funniest things I've ever seen somebody do.
Get your ass back here.
After getting stomped on by the Explicator. Green Crayons writes in, doing day one Warlords with y'all is when I felt I finally found a new gaming home after my last group fell apart. Shout out Nadiki and Nox for being stuck in jail with me for a solid 30 to 40 minutes. Yeah, I think we all had that. Nerd and I ran it with Sammy, and we were like, how the fuck do we get out of here? We spent more time in there than we did in combat.
We never got out. We're still in there.
We're still in the
still trying to get
tips on the surface of my mind.
Jeez, it's all of Vex-Stim. All of us are still in those jail cells.
Better Tesla writes in and says, I have to say, ever since Lightfall came out, my enjoyment went up while playing Destiny 2. It wasn't because of any changes to the game. It was because I found a caring community, came into the clan through Ronnie, and ever since that happened, I haven't looked at the game the same way. It used to be I was nervous to meet new people. I'd gotten used to the 9-to-5 work life of wake up, work, go home, and sleep. It caused me to get a little closed off. I remember thinking how I wanted cool raid gear, but I didn't have anyone to play with. Then I had a chance to do Ron through the clan, and I took it. It was my first ever raid, and my first time actually taking this game way more serious, so I had sweaty hands on the controller the whole time. As we went through the encounters, people complimented on how I was doing, and everyone was super laid back and telling jokes. Two people who made it easier for me were Ronnie and Saint. I remember beating my first raid and being filled with joy. I acquired raid weapons and made new friends. Since that time, I've helped by participating in other raids and getting others through them. I even got to meet Fox and help fix his house so he could get back in the game. This clan is amazing. These are the stories I really like hearing, man. This is what it's about. This is absolutely what it's all about right here.
Yeah.
Saint has one here, but it wouldn't let him post the full thing. It only let him post a paragraph. He has like some kind of restriction. I don't know what it is, but I have his in DMs.
The Bruce restriction.
The Shadow Realm. This is this is very long, but we're gonna go through it. Where do I start? I've been a solo player for the majority of this game, and I've never felt more welcomed into a community. Even after finding my dad in here after 19 years, Ronnie, and Uncle Aaron. From the moment I joined, it was all welcoming and love, even without knowing me. Dealer and Joe were the first ones to help me out getting Galley over 2 years ago, and now I'm helping people get whatever they need. Some of my favorite memories are definitely going to be running Legend Lightfall with Ronnie and Aaron. The first mission, I was the one who was grabbed up by the Tormentor, and as I feared for my life, they laughed with pleasure. Never felt more at home, and since then, I've developed an almost 2.5-year relationship with those guys, talking every day. Can I say another couple favorite memories for me are my first time going flawless in D2 solo and then soloing a couple dungeons. I never thought I'd be able to do this with myself, but this community has definitely given me a lot more confidence in the game and even myself. And those definitely do not include taking people through raids. Getting someone their first clear feels amazing because I remember when I was the guy being taught and carried and kicked from the fire team. But now I'm in on the opposite side of the fence and get to hear the shouts of joy and the let's go moments when killing a boss or someone getting the exotic who didn't have it. The small things I wasn't able to experience until I joined this group. From doing carries with Misadventure Crew or bullshitting our way through whatever obstacle this game is thrown at us, it's been a fun ride. I've never had such a great group of people to call friends. Tower Casuals isn't really a community, but rather a family of misfits who fit perfectly together. So thank you both for giving this to us, a safe space to adopt a guardian. Y'all are gonna make me get fucked up.
I feel like there might be some tears later. I feel like
there's definitely some emotions building right now. We're only halfway through these. Tiger Jesus writes in and says, I don't know if I have a favorite memory, but the times I do get to raid or do dungeons with this community have been the best times I've had playing Destiny. Sammy writes in, been listening since Season of Arrivals episodes, which were some of the first. Yeah, Sammy is an OG. They've been here since day one. They genuinely have been here since day one. I gotta say, I'm glad this show's been a part of my weekly routine. The chemistry between Corey and Josh is immaculate. Both y'all have such a genuine passion for the game. This pod has saved me from Destiny burnout many times, and there have been times that I almost stopped playing the game, but then that week listening to an episode or hearing even the smallest amount of your passion for the game has reeled me back in. My favorite memories is a hard one because I consider finding the pod to be a favorite. Like the original Root of Nightmares clear I did with the community sticks out to me. My old clan disbanded a few months or so before finding the pod, was very strict and was not a good environment, but the jump into Root with almost all of us doing it for the first time, but having fun and just enjoying it made me feel really good. As a primary solo player, I've always felt a little left out of things. I wasn't really doing raids or dungeons because I had no one before this to do them with, really. So every time I got to do something like that with this community, I cherish it, and it feels amazing to do. Thanks, Josh, Corey, and most importantly, thanks to everyone here. Let's kick the witnesses' ass together. Oh, boy. Okay.
You're here.
All right. Here.
It makes me feel good when you hear people talk about this community that we've put together, right? And like, I mean, I guess everybody else has put it together. We just kind of are here, but and it just makes me feel good that everybody treats each other good and helps everybody out. And there's no assholes in this community, really, right? I mean, the few that have been there, we've kicked some of them out, right? But like, overall, I don't know. It's weird seeing a community like this, but also like really heartwarming that, it exists, right? And I don't know. I really like hearing stories like this.
We've got a couple more, including one from show regular A1 Johnny. It's been a wild ride. Survived the pandemic and seen Bungie change ownership twice since I met Josh back in Season of Opulus. Found him on a random subreddit when my friends quit playing Destiny. Did my first raid with him and his crew. Since then, we've done every raid, dungeon, exotic mission, and I've even bullied him into running GMs with me. But he's been a good friend, and through the silly podcast, I've made a few more. That's been the real end game all along, eh? But I have to say, my favorite part is getting to bully children at JoASIS and make fun of the elderly at Nerd at the same time. Much love, Guardians.
I feel targeted.
Same, but in a good way.
Nerd posted this for Fox since Automod hates him and Saint, apparently. The most insane thing about this whole Tower Casuals thing is that I've met some of the most amazing and interesting people in the world. That's a very long list of names. However, I can say that I've interacted and played with most of the people in this clan. I started listening to this pod quite a while ago, probably about 2 years if my math is right, but let's get to the list. You've been listening longer than that, Fox. You were writing in before episode 100. I remember explicitly. I'll start with one of the first friends I made here, my dear buddy Ronnie. This old fart has been a constant positive reminder in this game. He's always itching to do something, even if it's just goofing around in the tower. I confided a lot about my personal life to him, and he's always given some of the greatest advice a young fella such as myself could receive. Through him, I met Saint, Aaron, and Tesla, the latter of which I'm indebted to greatly, as he drove over 2 hours to come and help me get my electricity fixed so I could keep gaming. To the entire Misadventure crew, I love each of you as if you were family. The laughs and joys, not joes, that we've had through the entire existence of that little pocket gang will resonate with me the rest of my life. Joe, mi amigo, you're one of the most chill mofos I think I will ever meet. Always around for shenanigans and clowning with some of the most insane ideas. You are truly one of a kind. Which this mention of Joe bleeds into our Ron Day 1 team. We fucking did the thing. It took us 13 hours to beat the damn thing, a feat I didn't think was possible with our 3 brain cells combined. The team was composed of myself, Joe, Finn, Nadiki, Dealer, and Rex. Y'all are real ones for enduring me blasting myself with a rocket every 10 seconds of that raid. That 13-hour window was some of the most exhilarating hours I've ever experienced. How could I possibly forget Nerd, the man behind the curtain? Through a simple DM, we found out we grew up in the same town, and at that time he was living it up in PA, and we talked on and off for a while until he moved back to Little Ohio. We met up at a bar I work at, and let me tell you, he is one of the tallest sumbitches I've ever met. Shout out to the mod and events team. Y'all are really the folks keeping the server moving in an interactive and fun direction. From the raid nights to sussy Sundays, shout out Joe, and fashion contest to the dungeon crawl. You guys really keep stuff moving here, and I love it. And last but most definitely, the host of the show, Josh and Corey. Thank you guys so much for this community. You've gotten me through the hardest 2 years of my life. From being in some super low places to super high places, this show has helped and saved me in ways that are impossible to count. I'm eternally grateful for the community you guys have spawned simply out of love for the game. There's no other community in the world I would rather be a part of. This is truly a warm and welcoming place for all Guardians. I love the entire server and the people within beyond any words. If I have a favorite memory, it'd either be Aaron just straight up walking off the edge and me literally dying, or our day 1 run. I'm done gushing about y'all, and to anyone I did not mention, I love y'all equally as the people I did mention, except Aaron. Now, let's go get this Megamind-looking son of a bitch.
Man, Aaron must have walked.
Aaron catching strays, man. Yeah, the fact that everyone in that crew has written in with the same memory is funny to me. All right, we've got one more before we get on to some personal thoughts from the 4 of us and start wrapping this up. Airmail writes in and says, stumbled onto the pod when I came back to D2 in early 2022. When my clan eventually succumbed to Destiny fatigue, I jumped in the clan. I finally feel like I found a collective of gamers I can be myself around. I love the community mentality and approach to helping each other. There's a unique dynamic here. We have top-tier players that are basically artists in-game with their knowledge and skill, alongside eager newcomers grinding to fill their exotic list and war chest out, not to mention the gang of misfits that adopted me. Nerd is a huge asset to engage and keep the group coming back. This community is obviously a labor of love with so many contributors on so many levels, but thanks for keeping the lights on and seeing this thing through to whatever shape we get. And we have one final one from Cade6. Cade writes in, not a question, but just a general post of gratitude. I've been listening to the pod every week since episode 130, after World Jukebox introduced me to you guys. Another OG, by the way. The sense of belonging you and the community has is amazing, and you guys should be extremely proud of what you have built. I look forward to listening every week and learn more about the game I have learned to love. Congrats on episode 200 to all your future endeavors, and always remember, it's been a week.
Here, here.
The reason that I skipped over the final two that we have are from Joe and Nerd, and it's not that they did not write heartfelt posts. I actually really got choked up reading Nerd's earlier today, but I wanted to turn the floor over to you guys and let y'all say whatever you want to the community before Corey and I say our piece and we read a final lore corner before we go into the great unknown. So,
Joe, you want to go first?
Joe, yeah, we'll turn it over to Joe.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I've always felt like this community, like first and like it's never been an LFG. It's never been a place. It's always been a place to find friends. And I think I don't think anyone could put a number on the amount of friendships that have been like forged and found in the walls of this podcast and this Discord. And I like truly I don't know where I'd be in life if I never got in here. So I thank you guys.
You are forever welcome. Thank you. You have done so much in this community. You know, I love that we had Sussy Sundays brought up. It's one of the first things I remember you doing in the server.
I still think back to that one night that there was like 15 people in there, and it was chaos, and it was great. It was great.
Nerd, would you like to take the microphone for a minute?
I was trying to go back and look to see what the first episode I did with you, sons of bitches, was.
You have been here since the very beginning. You were in one of the very early episodes.
Well, I'm looking at the YouTube channel, and I can definitely pinpoint back. It was like episode 12, I think.
It was around the time that we were running all the raids before they took them out.
Mm-hmm. And I think I did one even before that, but that's neither here nor there. So
we've wiped some of the old episodes. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's understandable. Well, I've seen you guys evolve this whole thing from very early on to where it's at now, to, just being a couple people hanging out and talking about Destiny, to having a community where you've got, hundreds of people in a Discord server and 10, 20, 30 people watching streams. I know I was here for episode 100 and it was popping then. And I want to say I'm really proud of what you guys have created. I'm proud to have been a part of it. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to sort of steward the community, at least from a Discord perspective. And I've met a lot of cool people and a lot of great friends as a result of it. I consider everybody here on the panel right now a personal friend, and I've met a lot of personal friends in the server as well. So thank you for what you guys have created. I think you've given a lot to the community, more than what you maybe realize. And, I hope we continue doing it for as long as we possibly can. And from there, I think the friendships will continue even after Destiny ceases to be a thing in its current form. So good job.
Yeah, I really couldn't have said it better myself, honestly. Corey, you got something you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot I want to say, but I'm going to...
The floor is yours. My throat's very tired right now.
Yeah, no, I know it's getting late for everybody, but Josh, when we started this, all I wanted to do was talk about Destiny with someone, right? And
yeah,
before this podcast even started, right, I met Josh in a random Facebook group where we were searching for Sleeper Simulant, right, in Destiny 1. And we were trying to, figure out this puzzle that didn't exist, right? And,
yeah.
Well, the first puzzle that didn't exist. And
first of many.
We became friends through there. And you and I have been doing content on and off together for a while either separately or together. And you know, when the pandemic started and Destiny was kind of like a safe space for, you know, not just us, but for a lot of people, right? And we just kind of hung out and started talking about Destiny and turned it into this. And when we started the podcast, I didn't know where it was going to go or how long it was going to last, and I didn't expect it to turn into this. Right, out of all the, I do a lot. I do too much. I do a lot, and this show is by far the biggest thing that I do, by far, by a long shot, and sure, to an extent, it's you know, it's the show, it's us, Josh, but I think a large part of it has to do with our community and Nerd and Joe and Ronnie and everybody else who helps people run raids and do dungeons and nightfalls and grandmasters and, you know, dealer running people through stuff, and you know, it's this thing has become bigger than the show itself. And you know, even if the show ended tonight, like I feel like the Tower Casuals has become something larger than just a podcast, right? It's just a group, a community of people who love the game, and it doesn't matter what skill level you are, how popular it is, how, you know, how bad or good you are, what you're into, you know, what weapons you're chasing. It's just a community who's willing to help everybody, and that's something that you can't manufacture. That's something that you can't, you know, you can't buy a community. You can't, you know, control a community. It just happened. And, you know, Nerd, you have been a huge part of putting this Discord together. And, you know, Joe, you've been such a great leader throughout everything in this. And, you know, and that's, I'm not, you know, I'm talking to you guys directly because you're here, but I mean, everybody else who's been helping and leading and doing things, and, you know, bringing other games into it. Like, you know, there was a Fortnite thing for a while. There was a Helldivers thing for a while. There was, I think, Fallout 76 for a while. Like, there
Sussy Sundays.
There has been Sussy Sundays. There's been a lot of things happening outside of Destiny too, and the fact that people get together and hang out or talk to each other or become friends, like lifelong friends, it seems, in a lot of ways, based on some of the things people wrote in. It's like it's a special thing, and, you know, like I said, it's bigger than the podcast. It's bigger than either of us. It's bigger than anybody. It's the community is a special place to be, and, you know, I know, Josh, you are a huge part of this show. I mean, you are what makes this thing run, right? Yeah, I host and tell stupid jokes and everything, and make hot takes and whatever, but like, your knowledge and the way you retain knowledge, and the way you're passionate about the lore and how quests work, and like the relationships between characters, and like all these different aspects of the game that you're just so knowledgeable about, is what makes the show, right? I mean, I don't even remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, okay? Like, let alone like lore from 2 years ago, and you're just whipping it out of your ass like, oh, you know, this guy did this, and Osiris picked his nose on Neomuna because Strand fell out. I don't know.
Strand!
Yeah. So,
Strand nose picked so hard.
But Josh, you're the heart and soul of the show, and you know, I don't know if this would have ever gotten half as popular if you weren't as engaged as you are, because that's something that I wish I could be more engaged in the game, you know. And you've made this show a special type of show that I don't know if anybody else could have pulled off either. So, you know, I'm so grateful and appreciative of you as a co-host, and you know, I think a lot of where we are is because of you specifically too. So,
y'all gonna make me act up. Y'all gonna
Jilly.
Y'all really gonna make me act up.
But Josh, the math's one.
I don't handle people saying nice things very well.
That's fair. I don't either. So you better not talk to me.
Well, you better get ready, buddy.
Shit.
All right. Anything else, Corey?
No,
I'll kind of wrap us up.
I'm really appreciative of all three of you and everybody in the community and everybody in the chat and everybody who listens, and, you know, I just am appreciative of everything everybody does to contribute to this community, you know. So that's it for now. I could keep going.
All right. I'm gonna try not to hold court here for too long. My voice is very tired. I want to start with the community and to the people who've been here, whether you've been here for one episode or you've been here since episode 1. You know, we established, you know, Sammy, World Jukebox, Tiger Jesus, Fox. You guys have been around forever. I remember the first time that Saint wrote into us, and I just dubbed him as Saint from that point because I was not going to read his full name out on the air. I believe it was Saint 14's 14-inch taint.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, buddy.
But in honor of episode 200, I'll say the full name.
Long taint.
Seeing this show grow from something that had like 30, 40 listeners a week, we were happy to get questions from Joe. Joe was one of the earliest people to write into us, and now, you know, he's one of my best friends. You know, I talk to Joe every day.
Joe was DMing me on Instagram questions before we even had the Discord, right?
Questions.
DMing questions. I used to be like, who is this Joe guy who's following me on Twitter, randomly soliciting Destiny opinions to me? I mean, you know, for everybody who's listened since the beginning, to the people who have been super active in the community, you know, whether it's through questions, through helping people do content, just general discussion, I feel like we just have such a caring community. You know, the people that I see all the time, you know, Knox, Tesla, Sammy, and the D-Key, Ronnie, Aaron, you know, things don't happen without you guys. You know, the Misadventure Crew's been such a huge part of it. You know, Fox is a gigantic part of it too. Always wanting to hang out. You know, I know Fox is part of a few other groups that I'm in. If I was picking memories, it would be definitely the Day One run was one, but the Witch Queen campaign with Nerd and Colonel Panic will always stick out as a very special memory to me in Destiny. Loading in one by one very slowly into that first mission, and all was just like, no, we'll come back, just go, and then we were holding up because it was like, oh, someone's joining your fire team, and we had to go all the way back to the beginning to get somebody, and it was great. Us getting really frustrated with the stupid fucking Savathun fight, sleeping on it, coming back the next morning and crushing it at like 7 a.m. It will always be some of my most treasured memories. You know, Joe, a lot of what we do in this community doesn't work without you. You are really the instigator of a lot of our stuff that we like to do here, you know, raid runs. You have been so accommodating to people who want to learn how to raid, who want to learn how to do dungeons, who just want to do higher end content, even just farm. Like, you have been one of the driving forces of that. I know we've established Ronnie and Saint and Aaron and Fox and Adiki as people who do that, but you were kind of the OG in that regard. When I think of somebody who wants to help people get through content, I think of you. I think of you helping other Guardians, you know, and obviously, you know, you and I are part of, you know, a friend group with John and a bunch of others. And, you know, that's not just something that sticks around in our group. That is who you are as a person. You are somebody who brings out the best in people and who wants to see others get to have the same cool experience that you've had. And I think that's why we kind of became kindred spirits in a lot of ways, whether it's, the previously established Sussy Sundays or, us making plans months ago to go through the final shape together because we are both such huge story aficionados and don't want to miss a single drop of what's happening. It has been a pleasure to to partner with you on a lot of things and to see you grow. I feel like I've seen you gain so much confidence from the time that I first met you, to where you are now wanting to set up runs. You are now setting up runs. You are leading people. And I have seen that not just, in terms of you, interacting with, groups that we play with, but, in terms of being a leader, like I've seen you grow as a person. And there's no greater privilege as a friend than seeing your friends grow. Nerd.
Gosh, here we go.
I've long called you the secret third chair of the show. Without you, the community simply doesn't grow the way that it did. You were the first one to bring up the idea of a Discord to me and to Corey. For years, you wanted to get groups together, and they were valiant efforts, but we could never quite get beyond just our normal friend group of 15 people combined. Mm-hmm. And then you were like, you came to us before episode 100 and you were like, what if we do a Discord? And I was super against it. And I remember the conversation because I told you can do it because you promised you would set it up, you would admin it, everything. I would not have to lift a finger. And I said, done. Because I was so against the idea of a Discord. I have never been so wrong in all my years of playing games. The joy that this community has brought me is just so special. It has been a rough couple of years. You guys know everything that's gone on. But you've gone from somebody that I was happy to just have friends to play the game with regularly beyond, no offense, John. We grew the friend group beyond just you, me, Phil, and Max to play with Nerd and Colonel and Corey and everybody else. And you have become one of my very best friends outside of this game. You are somebody that I feel I can confide in, that I can talk to about anything going on in life. You were extremely supportive and checking in on me regularly after my mom got really sick, knowing everything that was going on there. You were such a supportive friend in that time and gave me a shoulder to just vent my frustrations to. I have never been good with dealing with my emotions. You were a very big motivator in me actually getting help. That it was, it's not unmanly to get help. That sometimes that's the best move you can possibly do for yourself. And man, I don't have enough words to describe what your friendship means to me. I don't think any words will describe it. I don't think any words can do it justice. Man, I am a genuinely better person. I am a better friend. I am a better man because I met you and because I can say that you are my friend. I think it's really special when the bond between friends can go beyond just pixels on a screen and you can share the joys and triumphs in life with somebody. And I want everyone listening to this to know that there are no truer friends than people like Nerd in this world. If you find a friend like him who will be the most loyal person you have ever known, who will go to bat for you, who will be there to pick you up at a moment's notice, hang on to them. Like that, people like Nerd and Joe do not come along in life every day. I am extremely fortunate to have several friends that are like that, but I know not everybody does. And that's why I'm so glad we have this community, because it feels like everybody else is finding those connections and those friendships that I have been fortunate to find through this silly little video game. So, Nerd, thank you for being you. Thank you for being an incredible friend. Thank you for being a great content partner. I have gotten to see you grow as a friend. I have gotten to see you grow as a creator. I have gotten to see you grow as a creative. As a man, as a father, And just like with Joe, like there's no greater privilege. Like this is more important than a game. There's nothing more important than seeing your friends live their absolute best life.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man.
And then
thank you,
Corey, man. What can I possibly say about Corey that has not already been said tonight?
Nothing.
There is not a show. Nope. We're getting this out. I'm starting to get really emotional. We're getting this out before I have a full breakdown before Lore Corner. There is not a show without Corey. It's that plain and simple. It's that cut and dry. There's not a show without Corey. It was Corey's idea. He tweeted out that he had an idea to do a Destiny show and he wanted to call it Tower Casuals, and I sarcastically replied to him. I was like, damn, I really wish I could talk about Destiny. And that is literally how the show was born, guys. We just decided to do it, and that night we sat down and recorded what would be the very first Tower Casuals episode. There's been growing pains, like with any show and any community, but I think a show like this only works if you're doing it with your friends. When you find somebody that shares that same passion for the subject matter as you, and you find somebody who kind of complements your own skill set. When we first set out to do this, I just really wanted to talk about the lore, to be honest. This show really reinvigorated my love for the game. I probably would have fallen off the game a very long time ago if I was not doing this show, to be frank. There's been a lot of ups and downs, and I think that's what really tests you as a content creator. And I think the fact that Corey continually produces and runs a show so effectively as he does with all of his other commitments. I don't know if you guys know how busy Corey is. I don't know if we've mentioned it before, but he's a little busy. Between, producing and editing stuff at his day job and then, other shows outside of here, being a father, being a husband, like those are full-time jobs. You don't get to just put those down at the door at 8:30 when they go to bed. That's a full-time 24/7 gig. I'm the asshole over here, who, works from home and has a cat to take care of. So, for Corey to continually come in here with a positive attitude and to be so excited for Thursdays, Corey, I've lost track of how many times you've told me how excited you are to do this show every week. Every Thursday, Corey messages me and is like, Josh, it's Tower Casuals Day. Every time when I log on, he's like, it's Tower Casuals Day, regardless of how long of a day here I have had. And I'm usually coming in looking half exhausted. Corey's cracking what has to be his third energy drink of the day.
That number.
And that you might need to get checked out for that. And yet,
Doctor
the show still... The show still turns out the way it does. It is probably the closest thing to the tower being on fire that we can possibly imagine at times, but somehow the show continues to just churn along, and I think that everybody else nailed it, so I don't want to dwell on it too much, but it's gone beyond the show. It's a community. It's not just like, oh, join the Discord, join the clan, but Tower Casuals is anybody who listens to this. We wanted to show that in a community that didn't have to feel focused on the end game or on like the top 1% of the player base. This is a pod for those who are curious about the game, who want to just, who want to learn about the world, who want to hear some cool lore, hear some stories, hear two friends, sometimes three, cutting up, joking around. And I think that as the show has grown, we've both become a lot more comfortable sharing our lives with you guys. And in turn, you guys have shared them with us. There is nothing I can possibly say to Corey that will show the eternal gratitude I have for him asking me to do this with him. This is by far and away the most successful pod I've ever done. A lot of pods will flame out before episode 100, and here we are 200 strong with plans for like 4 more in the next week and a half. Mm-hmm. There is not a co-host I would do this with otherwise. And better or worse, we're here. We are riding this to the moon, as some would say.
Maybe to Reese.
So that's really all I've got. Does anybody else have any final words before we do a lore corner and get out of here?
I have one more thing to say to you, Josh.
Hit me, Corey.
So, as you know, my life has changed over the course of this show quite a bit in multiple ways. And I don't get to play as much Destiny as I would really, really like to anymore. I still play a lot, but not as much as I would like to. And my game time is constrained to certain times of the day, or certain days of the week, like the weekends. And a lot of the reason why I'm excited for Thursdays is because, like, I know that you've done what I am either waiting to do or maybe don't have time to do at the moment. And, you know, Destiny, like, a lot of my Destiny playing is through Tower Casuals now, honestly. And, like, I'm so thankful that I get to still experience the game how I want to experience it in a way, even though I sometimes have to wait a couple weeks or have to wait, you know, a couple days to do the things that I want to do. And like I said, Josh, you say there's no show without me, but this show is not the show without you. And yeah, that's my final word. And this community is not the community without Nerd and JoASIS and Ronnie and Fox and
A1 Johnny. Don't forget it.
You know, we'll talk about him later.
That is somebody that I neglected to thank, but John, genuinely, I said a lot of nice shit about John on episode 100. It's okay.
I mean, I still
go back and listen to that.
I still DM Johnny sometimes for Titan builds. I mean, it's probably been like 6.
I tell John I appreciate him regularly. So
yeah, I open that DM thing to him like 3 times a week. I'm like, I need more Titan builds, but then I'm like, I don't know if I have the right stuff to do it, so maybe not. But yeah. Johnny, Tiger G.
All right, guys, we have
Sammy.
We have. Oh, go ahead. Sorry,
I was just shouting out everybody. I can't name everybody that I'm grateful for. The list is too long.
We have one final lore corner for the Year of Lightfall. We read this a few weeks ago, but I think it's kind of perfect to encapsulate what I feel the show is about. And reading Gallarhorn this time, that is probably my favorite lore tab in the entire game. With fucking Randy and his tracking bad omens, but this is one from the Into the Light lores. We're not going to discuss it. We're just going to read it, and Corey will take us home. But it's called Hot Off the Shelf. From Ember Haddad, senior editor at the City Herald, presuming that's a city newspaper. My new friend is an unassuming young man in a torn flight jacket, still coated in a fine layer of dust. His ghost, Rivet, is looking impressively smug for a small metal being. They told me I'd never find my guardian, Rivet tells me. That I should try my luck with the Hive, but look at him, he's beautiful. Like all Risen, Rivet's beautiful new guardian has no memory of who he was, where he is, or what his purpose might be, but he nods agreeably when Rivet explains to him that guardians protect the last city. I'm here to fight Fallen and Cabal, the guardian says proudly, but only the mean ones. He's still figuring a few details out, Rivet says. It's been a very eventful past few years in the Sol system. I ask Rivet, at this point in time, how does a ghost go about getting their new guardian up to speed? Well, you start by warning them about what threats we'll be facing in the field, right? I haven't really gotten to the part about the end of the world just yet, though. Rivet's guardian looks confused. The world is ending? Vanguard operative Shah Han, my escort through the Cosmodrome and local shepherd of those he calls New Lights, has similar advice. It helps to focus on the basics. Let them test out their light, learn what they're capable of. The details can come later. Even now? Yep. Once they've got a hand on the little things, saving the world comes naturally. I cannot think of a better lore piece to close out episode 200 and to encapsulate this show and its community than this piece right here.
It was because of the Shah Han reference, wasn't it?
I actually really laughed when I read this. The minute I read this for the first time, I knew we had to end 200 with this. I do find it cosmically funny that it's Shah Han saying maybe the most poignant lines that I've seen since the Gallarhorn lore entry. And it's only fitting that this is coming like
2 years after that piece. So 2.5. But yeah. Corey, why don't you take us home? Let's get out of here.
All right. Let's the final shape is the next episode.
It's upon us.
It's here. So I want to thank everybody out there for watching and or listening or watching live episode 200 of Tower Casuals. I owe somebody some silver. So because they guessed. I will do a prize drawing tomorrow. I will have my partner hold the camera up and I will draw names out of a hat tomorrow for prizes. I may or may not have completely forgotten to write down everyone's names before we started. But if you submitted a memory to us tonight or you sent it to us in DMs, those will count. If we read it on the show tonight, it counts. I will do a video recording those tomorrow, and that will be, of course, for some silver, the Partners in Light lore book, and the Destiny 2 Steel book that I have. So your prizes will be mailed out probably on Monday. Fair warning. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Nerd, JoASIS, thank you for being here. All your contributions to this community and this show, and you know, Josh and I love you both. We really appreciate both of you. I don't know. You
love
can find
to anytime.
Yeah, you know where you can find Josh. You know where you can find me. Tower Casuals 200. I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening. And good luck against the Witness next week. Goodbye.